Welcome to the Midnight Archives.
The old Blackwood Institute had been abandoned since 1993, but its true secret remained hidden within its decaying walls. As a paranormal investigator, I had studied every available document about this place. Official reports mentioned structural issues, but the architectural blueprints revealed something much more disturbing. Rooms that didn't appear in any document, hallways that changed position between different plans, and internal measurements that exceeded the available external space. Our team arrived during a particularly violent thunderstorm. Lightning illuminated the Victorian structure in ghostly flashes, as if the sky itself protested our intrusion. The moment we crossed the threshold, the air thickened immediately, charged with the smell of ozone and ancient dust. Our equipment began to fail instantly. Cameras showed images of medical staff who had ceased to exist decades ago, EMF meters registered impossible readings, and thermal cameras detected cold spots that moved with intelligent purpose. It was in the East Wing that we found the first significant anomaly, a dark oak door carved with intricate symbols that seemed to shift under direct observation. According to all official plans, this door shouldn't exist. Yet there it stood, slightly ajar, revealing an absolute darkness that swallowed the beams of our flashlights. From within came the whispers, not the random noises of an old building, but distinct voices speaking in multiple languages, some recognizable, others completely alien. We set up our recording equipment, capturing hours of audio that would later reveal terrifying patterns. Voices speaking in perfect reverse, complex mathematical equations recited in dead languages, and personalized messages addressed to each team member by name. "David, you shouldn't have come here," one voice whispered clearly in English, though I had never shared my name with anyone present. Dr. Elena Martinez, the linguist on our team, made the chilling discovery after analyzing the recordings. "This isn't residual energy or electronic voice phenomena," she told us, her face pale. "These are real-time communications from another dimension. That door isn't just wood and metal. It's a dimensional weak spot, and something is trying to communicate through it." The manifestations began 3 days after our visit. I woke at 3:17 a.m. to find my apartment walls covered in complex architectural diagrams, detailed plans for reinforcing the Blackwood doorway, drawn in my own handwriting but containing structural engineering knowledge far beyond my comprehension. Security camera footage revealed the truth. I had been sleepwalking for hours, drawing with precise movements while whispers in unknown languages flowed from my mouth. We returned to Blackwood with heavier equipment and growing dread. The door was now wide open, revealing a corridor that stretched into impossible darkness. The whispers had become clear warnings. "The alignment completes in 72 hours. The Guardian comes to claim this world." Dr. Martinez's analysis confirmed our worst fears. We weren't dealing with random spirits, but with an organized invasion from another dimension, and we had accidentally accelerated their timeline. The final warning came through my own voice on a recording made during another blackout episode. They have been studying human psychology for decades. The Institute was their laboratory. Now they understand fear, and they are ready to harvest. We had exactly 3 days to find a way to close the doorway permanently, or witness the end of our reality as we knew it. The 72-hour countdown began the moment we fully comprehended the grave nature of the Blackwood doorway. Dr. Alastair Finch's hidden journals discovered concealed behind a loose brick in the basement revealed we weren't dealing with a simple haunting. We were caught in the crossfire of an interdimensional war that had been raging for centuries across multiple realities. The entity they called the Guardian was no mere spirit. It was a reality devourer, a cosmic predator that had consumed entire dimensions, and Earth represented its next feeding ground. Our team transformed my apartment into an emergency laboratory, working against the clock as the city around us began to show signs of dimensional decay. Each night, new blueprints materialized on my walls, increasingly complex diagrams for a dimensional stabilizer device that Finch had conceptualized but never managed to construct before his disappearance in 1993. The whispers now spoke through me constantly, even during waking hours. I'd suddenly find myself explaining advanced quantum entanglement principles or multidimensional physics far beyond my education, my voice echoing with multiple harmonic tones as the entity collective used my vocal cords as their communication channel. Dr. Martinez's research uncovered the terrifying requirement for permanently sealing the breach. The dimensional stabilizer needed both technological and biological components to function. The device required a human consciousness as its living anchor, a volunteer willing to become the permanent gatekeeper of the doorway. The cost was unimaginable: eternal existence suspended between dimensions, forever maintaining the barrier against the Guardian's return, completely isolated from both our world and any other. The Guardian's influence began spreading rapidly throughout the city. Emergency services became overwhelmed with calls about phantom doors materializing in private homes, people reporting whispers emanating from their electronic devices, and reality itself seeming to glitch in disturbing ways. We witnessed a bank manager collapse, screaming about shadow customers that only he could perceive. The collective fear was becoming a tangible energy source, nourishing the Guardian as it prepared for its final assault on our dimension. Our initial test of the stabilizer prototype revealed the full horror of the sacrifice. The biological anchor wouldn't simply be trapped between dimensions. They would experience infinite realities. Simultaneously, their consciousness stretched across countless parallel existences, forever aware of every possibility but never able to interact with any. It represented a fate arguably worse than death, yet stood as the only solution to save our world. The team fractured under this devastating knowledge, with 2 members advocating for surrender to the Guardian in the desperate hope it might show mercy to those who cooperated. The final confrontation approached as the Blackwood doorway began pulsing with malevolent crimson energy, its oscillations growing stronger with each passing hour. The Guardian's form became faintly visible to the naked eye even from a distance, a shifting mass of absolute darkness studded with the screaming, tormented faces of civilizations it had already consumed. We had one chance to activate the stabilizer at the precise moment of dimensional alignment. But we still hadn't resolved the impossible decision of who would make the ultimate sacrifice. The whispers grew increasingly urgent in their warnings. Choose your champion quickly. He tastes your collective fear. Your terror only makes him stronger and more eager to cross over. The city's descent into chaos accelerated as reality itself began unraveling at an alarming rate. Streets folded into impossible non-Euclidean geometries, buildings flickered between different architectural eras, and terrified citizens reported encountering their own doppelgangers, some friendly, others hostile. The dimensional bleed-through was reaching critical levels, and the Guardian's full physical manifestation in our world seemed imminent, promising catastrophic consequences for the very laws of physics that governed our existence. We uncovered the complete, horrifying history of the Blackwood Institute through Finch's final journal, hidden ingeniously within a hollowed-out foundation stone. The Institute had never actually functioned as a psychiatric hospital. That carefully constructed cover story was created in 1978, following the first major dimensional breach. In truth, Blackwood served as a specialized containment facility built directly around a natural dimensional weak spot that had existed on that location for centuries. Dr. Finch hadn't died mysteriously, as official records claimed. He had voluntarily become the first gatekeeper, sacrificing his physical form to contain an earlier, smaller incursion by the Guardian. The whispering entities finally revealed their true identity. They represented the collective consciousness of all previous gatekeepers from different realities, each one who had eventually fallen to the Guardian over millennia of interdimensional warfare. They had formed a desperate resistance network across the multiverse, sharing knowledge, strategies, and warnings in their eternal struggle against the cosmic predator. My sleepwalking episodes and automatic writing sessions weren't cases of possession. They were intensive knowledge transfers, centuries of accumulated interdimensional warfare experience being directly downloaded into my subconscious mind. Our team faced its ultimate moral test: activate the stabilizer and condemn one of us to eternal isolation as the new gatekeeper, or stand by and watch our entire reality be systematically consumed by the Guardian. The decision tore our group apart at the seams. Mark, our lead engineer, argued vehemently that we should allow the breach to occur. Perhaps the Guardian would spare those who willingly cooperated with its conquest. Sarah, our field medic, maintained that voluntary sacrifice represented the only morally defensible choice. The tension reached its devastating climax when we discovered Dr. Martinez had been secretly communicating with the Guardian for weeks. Seduced by its promise to restore her deceased daughter in the new reality it would create after consuming ours. This betrayal shattered our remaining unity and hope. The Guardian presented me with a particularly tempting offer. My family would be spared and granted positions of authority in the reordered reality it planned to establish. I spent an agonizing night studying photographs of my wife and daughter, weighing their safety against the survival of billions of innocent people. Ultimately, I recognized the Guardian's promises as identical lies it had told in every reality it consumed, false hopes designed to weaken resistance, never once honored in its long history of dimensional conquest. We returned to Blackwood for the final confrontation, our equipment prepared, but our spirits broken. The doorway had transformed into a shimmering, unstable portal of distorted space-time, visibly warping the air around it even in broad daylight. The Guardian's terrifying form began materializing fully on our side of the dimensional barrier. A colossal entity of shifting darkness, containing countless eyes that reflected the final moments of every civilization it had destroyed. We had one opportunity to save humanity from extinction, but the personal cost would demand everything from one of us. The final confrontation began as the dimensional alignment peaked at midnight. The Blackwood Institute had transformed into an epicenter of reality's collapse. Walls dissolved into shimmering energy fields, corridors twisted into Mobius strips of impossible architecture, and the ghostly echoes of consumed civilizations flickered around us like dying stars. The Guardian manifested in its full, terrifying glory, a being of pure entropy that had devoured countless universes, now poised to add ours to its collection. Dr. Martinez revealed her treachery in the chamber's center, her eyes gleaming with misguided hope as she disabled our primary stabilizer. "The Guardian will resurrect my daughter in the new reality," she screamed triumphantly as the doorway expanded violently, spewing forth shadowy tendrils that began dissolving everything they touched. But the ancient gatekeepers had foreseen this betrayal. The blueprints they'd imprinted in my mind contained a hidden safeguard, a miniaturized stabilizer secretly integrated into my nervous system during my deepest trance states. I was always destined to become the sacrifice. As the Guardian reached for me with claws of solidified nothingness, I activated the internal device. A wave of pure harmonic energy erupted from my body, not destroying the doorway, but transforming it into a stable, transparent barrier. I felt my consciousness expanding, stretching across dimensions, becoming one with the fabric of reality itself. The Guardian's roar of frustration echoed through multiple planes of existence as it found itself permanently barred from our world. In my final moments as a human, I saw Dr. Martinez realize the terrible truth. The Guardian had never possessed the power to restore life, only to consume it. As the portal stabilized, she leaped toward it, not in triumph but in despair, her body dissolving into quantum particles as she crossed the threshold. My team watched in horrified awe as I became the living anchor, my physical form fading into the barrier while my awareness expanded to encompass the entire dimensional border. Now I exist as the eternal watcher. I perceive all realities simultaneously, infinite possibilities branching from every decision, every moment. I see my wife remarried, happy, yet sometimes pausing as if hearing whispers on the wind. I watch my daughter grow, occasionally dreaming of a father who became a legend. The gatekeeper's collective wisdom flows through me, their centuries of knowledge now my eternal burden. The doorway remains, a shimmering scar between worlds, but the guardian cannot cross while I maintain the watch. I've become both prison and prisoner, guardian and sacrifice. My team continues their work, now understanding the true cost of dimensional exploration. They occasionally return to Blackwood, sensing my presence, hearing echoes of my voice in the whispering winds that still drift through the abandoned halls. In the silence between heartbeats, across the vast expanse of multiple realities, I maintain the watch. The guardian still waits, testing the barriers, searching for weaknesses. But I remain vigilant, an eternal sentinel at the threshold, protecting countless worlds from the darkness that would consume them. The sacrifice was immense, but the alternative was unimaginable. And in the quiet moments, when the cosmic winds still, I can almost remember what it felt like to be human.
If you want to uncover more hidden files, subscribe, turn on the bell, and stay with the Midnight Archives. You've been watching the Midnight Archives. The next file unlocks soon.